Hi, today we are doing an origami project. We're going to do part one of the project that's right here on the table in front of you. We're going to do the lotus flower today. This is actually two projects. This is the star box, which makes the green foliage underneath the flower. We're actually just going to do the lotus flower part in part one today. We'll come back part two and do the star box on another day. So I'm going to set that aside and the green paper that's going to be required for it. Let's focus on the lotus flower. This is my red lotus flower that I've done. It should look like this. The reason the bottom petals of the flower are bent down are to hold it into the star box. Lotus flower is a very traditional piece of Japanese origami art. The lotus flower grows commonly there. So you're going to see that the white side of the paper is actually where we're going to start. That's going to be the inside of the flower. The yellow is going to be the outside, like the red is the outside for this one. So turn your paper so the white side's up and the yellow side is down, or if you have orange or red, whatever flower color you selected is down. We're going to start by folding and making an X on our paper. So I'm going to fold across. Now, it is extremely important in origami, guys, that when you make these folds, they are exact. So I line up those two corners exactly, push down and hold my paper down, and then I crease my fold on the other side. After I do that, I take my thumbnail and I just pull down the crease. And that is like putting an iron down a pair of pants. And that fold stays very flat now. That's my first fold. To make the other side of my X, I'm going to need to fold across the other axis. So we have an X-axis and a Y-axis. They're interchangeable for this project. Use my thumbnail, crease it down, and look how flat it stays. Now in the center of my paper I can see there's an X. My next four folds are all going to go exactly to that X. And when I say exact, I mean when you bring your paper over and push that point up, slide it up to that X and stop exactly in the middle of it. Don't be crooked to the left or crooked to the right. Do not go beyond the center of the X. Come exactly to it. Then use your thumbs to push down the paper. Use your thumbnail and make the crease. Alright, so I'm just going to rotate this and continue those folds. Each one of these folds needs to come up exactly to that center of the X. And when that happens, you'll see how neatly the fold matches the fold you've already made. You must be extremely neat and precise when you fold for origami. So again, I'm bringing it up exactly to the middle of the X, pushing it down, creasing with my thumb. One more time, pushing it up exactly to the middle of the X, and creasing. So you can see I've created a smaller square. When I press it down, you'll see there are no gaps and no overlaps in my first four folds. They come up perfectly to the center of the X. We're going to do the same thing again on this side. We do it twice on the front side and once on the back side. So here comes the second time on the front side. I'm going to lift up my corner gently. I'm using these lines to help match up this square, and I go exactly to the center of the X again. Notice how I use those lines on my fold, and then I press down, and now it becomes increasingly important to use your fingernails and crease to hold that down flat. I'll rotate my lotus flower. Same thing, I'm going to use these lines to help me when I make my fold. Get it very neat and precise. I need to come up exactly to the center of the X and then press and fold. Notice over here there should be no gaps, no overlaps. Alright, third fold on the front side. Bring it exactly to the middle of the X. Use your fingernail, crease it down. Again, exactly to the middle of the X. Use your fingernail, crease it down. Alright, so I've done that twice to the front side. That was my first time. Here's my second time. Here's where most people make their mistake. After I have folded it twice on the front side, I flip it over, and the third time I make the same fold to the center of the X on the back side. So here that comes now. Very carefully bring your point up to the center of the X. Use your thumbnail and crease it to hold that fold down. Again, we're going to bring each one of these corners to the center of the X, and in the end we'll have a smaller square. Bring your fold up carefully to the center of the X, crease it. Last time, bring your fold up to the center of the X and crease it. Really good with your thumbnail. Alright, before I turn it back over, the next step that you have to do on the back is you have to make what is a zigzag fold. So that zigzag fold, notice how it comes in and then goes back out. And those are going to be the underlying petals on the lotus flower, but also they will be the hooks that are going to hold it into the star box when we do part 2 like this. They hook right in there. I just press them in, and then the fold brings it back out. That's how it stays in there. So when we make these next folds, we're going to estimate about 1/4 of an inch from the edge of the paper and make our fold there, but you may have to adjust it later to make it fit into your star box. Alright, so here comes my folds. I'm estimating about 1/4 of an inch from the edge of the paper, and then making my fold and creasing it with my thumbnail. Notice how it stays out because I made the crease with my thumbnail. I have to continue estimating 1/4 of an inch. And then making my fold and creasing, I rotate, I estimate again 1/4 of an inch, I make a fold and crease, and my last one, I estimate 1/4 of an inch, make a fold and crease. So the back of my flower is ready to go. To finish the front side of my flower, I need to unfold the 4 outer petals and fold the 4 inner petals. So I'm going to begin on this square. Now I need to estimate 1/8 of an inch around the edge. Here's what that should look like. When I bring that petal out, I need to estimate 1/8 of an inch and then make my crease. I'll hold it closer so you can see I left 1/8 of an inch there. So when I folded that out, I didn't come all the way to this corner. So let's try it again with the next one. Sometimes you have to reach under like this. I'm pushing up on the bottom side with my fingers so it's easier for me to get that corner. Estimating 1/8 of an inch and creasing. Estimate 1/8 of an inch from the edge. If you'd like to estimate 2 millimeters, you can, but 1/8 of an inch is half of 1/4 of an inch, and we already estimated 1/4 of an inch right here, so I would think 1/8 of an inch is pretty easy to estimate right there. Now we have the inner petals. We're going to estimate 1/16 of an inch now. So when I fold that, I don't go all the way to the corner. I leave just 1/16 of an inch right in there. I'll try again to estimate 1/16 of an inch. That's half of 1/8 of an inch, roughly 1 millimeter. And that is how we fold lotus flower. That's what it should look like. Now over time some of your folds may relax and some of your petals may pop up a little bit. I wouldn't do that now. I would just let it do it itself over time. So that's our lotus flower. It's usually done in yellow, orange, or red. Thank you for joining me for lotus flower. Soon we will fold part 2, the star box.